And good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to IT and AV Convergence. We'll be talking about the convergence of IT and AV. Talking about building intelligent, connected working places, and ultimately the benefits of working with an IT and AV integrator at the same time at the beginning of a project. So this way there's no unknown pitfalls down the road. So the meeting will go about 45 minutes. I am Nick Guazda from VisionPoint. We will start with the problem, the 4 gaps in the conventional method. One of those gaps, being IT and AV not really communicating properly. We will start with the IT side, which will be the computer company, and we'll be talking about networks, endpoints, cybersecurity, and more. Then we'll pivot back to the AV side with the design, programming, and monitoring. VisionPoint specializes in design build, commissioning, and proactive monitoring services that make sure your devices are working even when you sleep. From there, we'll move to the lane boundary, how that IT and AV partnership works. After that, we'll have a little bit of practical knowledge with convergence in practice with the law firm scenario and a 6-room deployment. And to conclude, we'll pretty much give you a synopsis on how to get started on next steps.
Thanks, Nick. My name is Max, one of the account executives here at VisionPoint. I'll just go over VisionPoint. We're an AV integrator, managed service company, over 22 years of AV design and build expertise. That's in education, government, law firms, healthcare, corporate environments. Our proven success is in large-scale, multi-purpose deployments. So that's in emergency operations centers, corporate offices, boardrooms, lecture halls, huddle rooms. And we are a partner for the entire life cycle. Our engineers, sales team, project managers, we stay involved from design throughout the deployment. And we're a women-owned business regional partner with national level reach. And I think what separates us apart is we find the right AV system tailored for each client's needs. So it's a reliable, simple, intuitive solutions.
Thanks,
and I'll bring it over to Kevin.
Yeah, thanks, Max. So my name is Kevin Barrows. I'm the president and CEO of the Computer Company. We're a managed service provider doing IT services for businesses and government entities. We are currently one of the few MSPs that are CMMC Level 2 certified, and we also have our SOC 2 Type 2 certification for the last 12 years. And we help businesses with their, working around their cybersecurity and the threat landscape, as well as new upcoming developments like AI custom development and programming. So.
All right, and where does the conventional vendor split fail? So IT monitors every workstation, server, and switch. AV equipment sits on the same network as an unmonitored island, and a failed firmware update or offline encoder produces no alert. So typically when something goes down, the only way to find out is when that device fails. And that is kind of one of the initial and principal reasons that this IT and AV convergence makes sense for a connected enterprise. There does exist a deployment gap. Say the network team did not plan for the bandwidth, VLAN segmentation, which contributes to anonymity, or QoSing the AV system requirements. The room works on day 1, then drops calls on day 3 when firewall rules update. So essentially what that is saying is you pay for certain features for Microsoft Teams to work, for Zoom to work, and then you get there day 1, something is not switched on, something is not updated, and then it's not performing the thing that you bought it to do, whether it be following participants or even just transcribing the meeting itself. In the IT AV space, there are some more murky areas like the compliance gap. There is HIPAA, which is, private health information. There's CMMC2, which the computer company will probably go into more detail about. They pretty much own that expertise for the enterprise, and working with them benefits your organization. There's even FINRA, which is on the financial side. They all require inventory and control of networked endpoints. So the AV systems are networked and they're in scope, but most organizations don't discover this until an audit, which is long into owning those licenses. And that's when you discover the support gap. When something fails, IT says it's an AV problem, and back and forth. AV says it's a network problem. The user's still calling at 8:59 a.m. when that meeting starts at 9 a.m. and it ends up being two vendors, but no answers. So here is kind of where the shared expertise turns into a nice meshed plaid. So the computer company establishes your network, switches, wireless cabling, the firewall configuration, the entire layout, the entire IT asset outlay down to the Microsoft 365, down to compliance, down to all virtualizations, the VCIO and CISO strategic planning, as well as help desk and remote support. Sound familiar? Because that is another specialty of VisionPoint, is making sure that our remote support alerts you when you have a device that either went down or needs to be updated or has an issue. So VisionPoint is on the side of doing the AV system design and engineering, again, before the project starts. It entails, it can be Crestron programming unless you have another device. Installation and commissioning being when it's actually turned on and activated in that environment. It involves the hardware procurement process, which does take multiple weeks, especially with a more complex room. Beamforming mics and DSP tuning is taken into consideration, as well as AV over IP, which is becoming more and more popular and important. VisionPoint is able to monitor your conference room with Utelligy, and our flagship product is called Unify Plus, leveraging VisionCare Plus, which is the ongoing service. Now, where these join is the VLAN, which is more on the AV side, and the QoS design on the IT side. There's firewall rules for AV management traffic, identity integration for room sign-in, calendar integration, firmware update, network readiness, unified escalations, and joint quarterly technology reviews. What that really means is the reporting on your end is not delayed. So this way, the more reporting and the more analytics analysis, the more up-to-date you are with your devices, and the less likely you are to have a shortfall or a down day.
Thanks, Nick. So I want to talk a little bit about security gap, because a lot of customers of ours kind of feel like, hey, this is either an AV or it's an IT issue, and really they're a together issue. You guys will see some metrics on the screen for increases that we've seen for threats. And those attack increases have come from AI attacks of more recently. That's driven huge amounts of phishing attacks, huge amounts of vulnerabilities to be exposed. There's also user vulnerabilities that the user's that weak point, right? Or they're doing their own self-troubleshooting, right? They're trying to get that camera equipment up and running for that meeting. But they don't know what they're doing. They're just trying to make it work for that meeting as fast as humanly possible instead of engaging the professional services. And then you also have cloud providers. So these things could be Salesforce, they could be Teams, they could be Office 365, Zoom. There's a security gap there in settings in there that we want to kind of tighten down. And then there's also the Internet of Things types of devices. All these camera equipment, every device basically that can connect to your network is a breach. It's a potential area to be exposed at. So you want to protect all of these devices as best as you can. The weakest point is the point into the infrastructure and how they'll get in and expose the rest of the data, leading to a data breach at that point. So it's very important, if it's on the network, that it be protected either with firmware updates, security software, or just separated altogether to limit the attack surface quite a bit. So we can kind of help out on different ways. So cybersecurity is one we're just talking about, and that's huge. And we have services like managed detection and response, dark web monitoring to see if you have been exposed in the past. You can't improve the security posture if you don't know where you stand today. So that dark web monitoring is really huge. Penetration testing these devices, running a scan against the network internally, externally, and seeing where those gaps and those openings are. It's better to find that stuff on your terms as opposed to somebody else's terms. And then we have web filtering and security awareness training. And this just helps the user base itself not go to sites that they shouldn't, either by accident or on purpose, and also just educating the users to kind of raise their awareness up a little bit. And then we also help manage the endpoint itself, right? Every endpoint is important, regardless if it's a laptop or a workstation, a tablet, a camera system, a TV. All of that stuff is on the network. So we want to make sure that's all being managed. And then we want logins. So we want identity and access management products like Active Directory, Office 365 for Entra, for example. We want everybody to have some specific login. And then that comes down to networking and strategic. So there is no set it and forget it. And the same thing goes for video and audio. It's this push forward, right, to kind of make improvements, get better features, and just constantly make that strategic plan. So we have virtual CIOs and virtual security officers who can kind of help make that plan. And then we want to get into compliance side. All of these things tie into your compliance that you might need for your business. If it's HIPAA, if you're a medical location, if you're CMMC because you're a manufacturing new Department of Defense, or FINRA or PCI, if you're on the financial side of the world, all of these, compliance is required that you protect the assets and the users themselves. So, Caitlin. And then we also do AI development. We're in a world where you can tie in all of these products, not just 365, but that audio and video that you're doing for that meeting. Maybe you get a summary of that meeting. Maybe it gets emailed out. Maybe it gets auto-published to your site. But you can do AI development to kind of help improve efficiencies, get some consistency, and govern everything a little bit more. And then also, we offer data center hosting and cloud hosting. Very important for clients to think about their disaster recovery services, the redundancy, incident response plans. All of that is hugely, hugely important. So we want to take a good approach to that as well. So.
Thanks, Kevin. And on the AV side, with VisionPoint, we design, build, and support. And this is done with evidence-based AV design. And this is with conference rooms, boardrooms, again, huddle spaces, training rooms, you name it. It's a right fit solution for the client's needs. So that's something we strive on. It's design driven by acoustic modeling and sight lines, and we leverage Teams, Zooms, WebEx platforms. It's focused on the usability and scalability for the long-term value. With Crestron programming and control, it's custom control logic for every room. So this just provides a reliable, intuitive room experience. Custom programming, not cookie cutter. So it's how the user is actually going to be using the control. Simple one-touch, meet and start. And this is all based to design ease of use and consistency for the people who actually use the space. And what's overlooked and very important is the commission and collaboration. This is provides the beamforming mics, fine tuning for clear audio conversations, and this adjusts displays for the best viewing experience. So just not hanging the display, hanging the cameras. It has a lot more to do with that. It's we do quality control, test every component before launch. And what this does, it ensures the room works how it should work from day one and how the user wants it to work. And we also offer VisionCare utility support. And this provides a proactive 24/7 monitoring, real-time device health and alerts, and that's predictive and proactive. So the user, if there's a very important meeting that they're having, they'll get these alerts beforehand. And what you see here is what we would call a bespoke boardroom. It's custom designed meeting room built specifically on the client's needs rather than just a standard conference room. In this, you have a purpose-built Teams room, not a BYOD. Everything's integrated into one platform, one system. This is here is a certified team rooms. So the devices are enabled to talk to the dedicated team room backend. We have ceiling room beamforming mics. This is for a clear voice pickup. You can see some flush mounted speakers for even coverage. And again, the Crestron One Touch control. It's designed, installed, and commissioned by VisionPoint. When we design and install, we also provide training and support. And this is for the user. It provides a reliable, consistent, intuitive user experience for the user. Jeff, I think this is your slide. I think you're on mute.
So what is convergence in practice? Regional, the example is the regional law firm, right? In a 6-room conference suite, new office build out, both teams engage from the very beginning. First is a joint discovery. TCC maps network capacity, identifies stack and compliance requirements. VisionPoint maps room use cases, platform preferences, and acoustics. Both attend a site walkthrough, one coordinated design output. 2, the parallel design. VisionPoint designs the AV system and coordinates network requirements with TCC. VLAN assignments, PoE budgets, QoS markings, and firewall rules are planned before any equipment ships. Parallel deployment, TCC provisions VLANs, configures switches, stages firewall rules, VisionPoint stages AV equipment, programs Crestron, validates platform certifications. Network is ready when installations begin. 4, coordinated support. TCC monitors network security and endpoint compliance. VisionPoint monitors AV through Utility and VisionCare Plus. Diagnostic data from both sides reaches the right team on the first call, not the third.
That's right, Jeff. So what does the client get? So the client gets reduced security exposure, predictable compliance, unified escalation, and rooms that work. So the entire networked environment monitors and manages the entire set of AV endpoints that most organizations don't manage or are not aware that they can monitor. This in turn creates that predictable compliance when auditors examine networked device inventory, monitoring, and control documentation, as well as licenses. AV is already accounted for. That helps to make a more unified or uniform escalation. When something fails, the right specialist team engages without the client triaging which vendor to call. One call, not 2. They know exactly who to call. And that results in rooms that work. If it's already monitored, if it already self-healed before the CEO or CIO of your company even walked in at 9 a.m. and they're aware that this went down at 7:20, was restarted at 7:22, and was back online by 7:23, this was resolved 2 hours ago. Nobody had to worry about it. Nobody even knew that they needed to worry 2 hours before they walked in, tapped start, and the meeting began. It creates a consistent room experience backed by real monitoring and real support from both partners. And as Max had alluded to, the industries we're served together are legal, financial services, healthcare, defense and aerospace, and corporate, but that's not all we really do. We can accommodate manufacturing. We can We both have extensive experience dealing with houses of worship, as well as even shared office spaces where either you rent a desk or a team might have their office. So in the legal industry, that includes their courtrooms, deposition rooms, and partner conference rooms. And this ensures confidentiality. The reason behind having virtualized LAN or VLAN is that confidentiality, making sure that you're not being eavesdropped on your conference calls. Same goes with the defense industry. Yeah, a defense contractor or military contractor probably would not want their meetings eavesdropped on. So that's the reason for a either VLAN for that conference room or what's called an air gapped room where it's kind of separated. So those are the kind of the core competencies and really the ideas behind putting together that IT and AV for security and for usage.
So what's the next steps? So the next step here is we'll schedule a joint discovery call with TCC and VisionPoint. This kind of gets everybody on the same page, what the goals are, what's the requirements, and then we can assess everything and get you guys coordinated. But you have our contact below. Feel free to reach out to myself here on TCC for any security or IT needs as well, or if you want to start talking about some AV equipment and how that can help out with your meetings, reach out to Max or Jeff or Nick.